Ash Wednesday. Return to me with all your heart. This is the cry of the Lord in the first reading. Further, God states, rend your hearts. Why does God ask of our hearts? And at the outlet of this Lenten season, why does He insist upon giving our heart to Him? In Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 9, God says, "The heart is devious above all else. It is perverse. Who can understand it?" In Matthew chapter 5, verses 18 to 20, Jesus says, "What comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this is what defiles. For out of the heart comes evil intentions, murder, adultery, fornications, theft, false witnesses, and slander." In our life, many a times, our heart turn out to be the source of all evil that we do. That is why one of the 6 things that Lord hates is a heart that devises wicked plans. Ash Wednesday is the day to look at our hearts and see that, is my heart a worthy offering to be made to God, or it is the source of all evil that I do? Heart impact the rest of our life. If our heart belongs to God, then our entire life belongs to God. How to return our hearts to God? Gospel of the day presents 3 ways to give our hearts to God that are known to be the pillars of the Lent: pray, fast, and give alms. Pray. We pray during Lent. What is prayer? John of Damascus said, "To pray is to raise your mind and heart to God." Simple and beautiful definition. Most of the times, our hearts are focused on the things and people of this world. During this Lent, very consciously, we need to raise our hearts to God, a God who is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. Think about God. Feel His presence, and importantly, speak to God. Let your heart filled with the thought of God rather than the thoughts that leads to sin. Spend time with God in prayer. Fasting. We fast during Lent. We fast from certain things. Catholics are not against the pleasure of the body, but if the desire of the body becomes so central, then they dominate us. If our hearts are longing only for the bodily desires and devises plans to obtain them, then it tends to deviate from the higher values of life, such as holiness, righteousness, justice, certainly the hunger of God. When our hearts filled with the desire for the bodily pleasure, then it falls to recognize the innate desire for God that is in the depth of our heart. Fasting vices sin, bad habits, and bodily pleasure gives us the grace to recognize this ultimate hunger for God and helps us to offer our heart to Him. Almsgiving. In the first letter of John we read, Those who say love God and hate their brother or sister are liars. For those who do not love a brother or sister whom they have seen cannot love a brother or sister whom they have not seen. A heart that does not love the other is not capable of loving God. To love means to desire the good and well-being of others. When our hearts goes out for the well-being of the others, we render our heart to God. Dear friends, God is asking our hearts. Let us turn to Him with all our heart in this Lenten season through prayer, fasting, and almsgiving.